it's less about how often you melt down and more about how quickly you are recovering from it.
Girl, the mic wasn't even on. But, anyways, I really want to focus on that point. There are a lot of factors that are going to influence how well of a job or how good of a job you're able to do at regulating yourself. Ooh, and something I really want to hone in on, I took this down, I have notes for today, is that regulation doesn't mean infinite bandwidth. Even highly skilled nervous systems can max out. I know a lot of the people that follow me are working on their nervous systems and their emotional regulation. And I want to remind you that if you are continuously showing up for yourself, if you have a hard day, you have a meltdown or whatever, but that recovery time is faster than the last, that's progress. I would encourage you when weighing your progress of am I improving and I'm regulating my emotions, am I improving at this in this area of my life? Focus less on, well, how frequently am I still having a meltdown or am I still stressed or struggling? And focus a little bit more on how good of a job are you doing at recovering and picking yourself back up and coming back around. How good of a job are you doing at building resilience? Because that is what you are doing when you continuously show up for yourself. Now, that girl, this is not an excuse. I'm not saying it's okay for you to crash out and melt down all the time because you're still doing good as long as you just keep picking yourself back up. Of course, the goal is to even limit getting to the point of a crash out, but you also have to consider the factors that are going on before you have said crash out or said meltdown. Where's your baseline already at? Because to be completely honest, a lot of people are overworked, underpaid, underfed, underrested. And then you're going out and interacting with the public, and then you're surprised and confused as to why you're seeing yourself becoming more irritable. This past week, I ended up having to go into jury duty, and as a lot of you know, I don't have a job. So because of how much sitting in traffic and having to get up and go to the same place every day and sit in the place before fluorescent light, blah, 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 how seriously that affects me. And I was noticing that when I was coming home at the end of the day, it was gradual too. First week I was doing all right. Second week I was really struggling. The third week I literally had a whole meltdown. And I almost didn't tell y'all about that. I'll be honest, I was really ashamed. It was another reminder for me that I still need to give myself grace and understand that my own nervous system has a capacity, and then also paying attention to how quickly that recovery time is. How quick can you bounce back from a troubled situation? Or are you still letting it linger in your mind and you're hitting up all your homies about it and you're thinking about it the next day? It's still pissing you off. You're still pissed. Or can you let that happen, whatever, that meltdown happened, it occurred, calm down and come back and be like, okay, we're back. That was over. That was that. And sometimes if you're at capacity, there really is a lot of power in allowing yourself to cry and allowing that emotion to come out. But obviously meltdowns look different for different people and different things occur, so whatever. My point is that if you're working on your emotional regulation, that's something that's a area of your life that you're trying to improve. And you're seeing less meltdowns, less crash outs, and or you're recovering faster from them and you are turning your mood around at a quicker rate, be it whatever that is, whatever that looks like for you. If you are seeing a lower amount of time needed to come back to a nice baseline, and or if you are seeing less frequent episodes, you are making progress. You have not failed. You are not in the same space that you were before. That was a reminder I had to have for myself, because I was like, why am I even experiencing this meltdown right now? Like, I thought I made so much progress. What happened to all my progress? The progress is still there, babe. You're still good. And I'm not making excuses for you. I'm not making excuses for myself. My point is that just because you have a hard moment doesn't mean all your progress went out the door. Remember, if you watched my video on how to improve at emotional regulation, which it is pinned if this is your first time seeing me, I mentioned having radical self-love and having radical self-forgiveness will expedite your progress. And I still stand 10 toes down behind that. Even seeing just how quickly I was able to recover from my little meltdown, I was like, dang, I'm already over that. That's already in the past. You can help yourself out by doing things like taking mental breaks every 45 to 90 minutes, depending on the task, by going outside, being outdoors, taking walks, giving your brain true rest time, not social media, true down regulation time. If you have the ability or the privilege to do so, I think it would be great if you could test it out. Take a couple days where you do your normal thing and check in with yourself, see how you're doing at the end of the day. How irritable are you, or how whatever are you? And then have a day where you take brain breaks, where you set a timer or whatever and take breaks and give your brain time to down regulate. You literally step outside and you take a walk and you let your brain do nothing. and see at the end of the day, how are you doing? Is it the same? Is it different? Anyways, girl, I'm about to go take my brain break. So just needed to remind you and myself that we are still doing a good job. And if this is your first time joining us, hello. We talk about this type of stuff all the time. So if you're interested, follow along.